Is your cold making it hard for you to get to sleep and leading to a bad morning? Switch to Mucinex Night Shift for fast, powerful nighttime multi-symptom cold and flu relief. Mucinex Night Shift fights your worst nighttime symptoms to help you get to sleep and wake up ready to go. Mucinex Night Shift. It's comeback season. Use as directed.
Hey, it's Austin James. Yes, I'm living with diabetes, but it doesn't have to define me. Thanks to the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor, I get real-time glucose readings throughout the day. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor is small and easy to wear, giving me the freedom to focus on my life as a parent and a musician. Now this is progress. You can get a free sensor at freestylelibre.us.
Offer available for people who qualify. Visit myfreestyle.us to see all terms and conditions. Certain exclusions apply. Data on file. Abbott Diabetes Care. For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
The Dental Download podcast is your source for insight from conversations with fellow dentists, specialists, and leaders in the industry. With new episodes every Monday morning, I'm your host, Dr. Haley. Let's get into this week's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Dental Download podcast. This is your host, Dr. Haley speaking, and we're going to be doing a solo episode this week. And if you're watching on Spotify with the video version, Christmas has landed in my house. I know it's a little early, but I had nothing going on last weekend. So I just went all out. I took away the fall decor and I put up the Christmas decor. So that's what we're rocking with. But this week's solo episode, as you saw in the title, is prompted because I'm actually going to talk to Michigan State University, MSU students tomorrow night, the day this episode goes up, about my first few months working, advice for getting into dental school, things of that nature. I usually have the opportunity to talk to a pre-health club there as well as the pre-dental club, so 2 different speaking engagements each year. And it's nice that they keep asking me to come back, so it must be semi-useful for the students there. But before we get into these lessons that I've learned in my journey in my 20s, late teens so far, from college into dental school to now, I wanted to do our typical intro. So life update, something I learned this week, something that's motivating me this week, and a recommendation for the week. Life update, we'll keep it short and sweet. So I started work June 10th. So what has that been? About 5 months of work. It's going really well. I'm going to do a 6-month of work episode, more similar to how I did 1 month and I think 3-month check-ins. It'll be topics like that, like what procedures am I doing? What CE am I doing? How am I challenged? How am I growing? Things of that nature. So I'm not going to talk about that much here. But personally, we have a meeting with our financial planner coming up this month. We're officially diving into that, getting our ducks in a row to be merging our finances, my fiance and I, as we're preparing to get married here. Typically, you would do that right before or after you get married. But since we are taking out a loan on this house together, we have to kind of merge to pay for that. It's just easier that way. And we're getting all the budgeting things together. So I'm sure after we go through getting our budget and everything squared away with the financial planner, I could do another finance-focused episode for you all. And on that topic of new house, I mentioned a few weeks back that we are going ahead with building a house here in Southwest Michigan. So we actually have the meeting with our builder in a couple weeks as well, and the designer to make the floor plan, interior, exterior plans, all of that. And from there, it's really press go whenever you're ready to start building. They just got to get the quotes from the subcontractors, pick who they want to work with, and we roll from there. So it's very exciting. But before we get into the rest of the episode, I still want to share something that I learned this week. And it's a saying that goes, you'll never get what you don't have the courage to ask for. You'll never get what you don't have the courage to ask for. And this comes around a lot for me in work sometimes. I wouldn't even say anyone that I work for or work with is intimidating by any regard. I'm very fortunate in that way. However, as I've mentioned before, sometimes I just don't want to come across as ungrateful or that I'm not appreciative of the opportunities I have been given. And sometimes it's challenging for me to ask for more opportunity, more responsibility,
more CE to take, whatever it may be. But you're never going to know and never have the opportunity if you don't bother at least trying. So that was what I had to push myself through this past week. What is motivating me this week? I thought I'd take a moment to shout out my work schedule. I highly recommend 4 days a week for dentists if you can swing it. I've mentioned before I work Monday through Wednesday, 7:30 to 5:30-ish. And then on Thursdays, it's 7:30 to 1:30. So kind of a half day. So 3.5 to 4 days-ish, because we have an hour for lunch, thankfully. So I would highly recommend finding an office that's going to let you have a really strong work-life balance, even if you don't need it. Like I might not need a 4-day, 3.5-day work week when I don't have children right now, but there's no reason to overwork yourself and get burnt out in your career really early on. Like we're going for longevity here, and I would understand if you're in an area where it's hard to earn well, then yeah, you might have to work more. But you all know I'm a big proponent of rural dentistry and going where the best opportunity is to work and live. And I mean, it's worked out so well for me. I don't feel like I'm in the middle of nowhere by any means, even though my practice is a little bit more rural, but it's still very successful in any lens that you look at it. So I would say I find my work schedule to be what's motivating me, and having built in times in my week to get my personal life squared away, take care of our house, get food prepared, and still having time to relax and make sure I'm sleeping well, make sure I'm exercising. My week schedule allows me to do that. I am pretty tired and burnt out Monday evening, Tuesday evening, Wednesday evening after work. If I do get a workout in that day too, it's a lot, but I know, okay, well, Thursday at 1, I'm going to come home and I don't have to do anything because I have days to get everything done. And that's such a great feeling. So I'm really trying to cherish this life stage that I'm in, because I know in other life phases, I may not be as fortunate to just have days and days and days, and I can accomplish what I need to accomplish whenever I want, as long as it's done before I go back to work on Monday. I know eventually once we have kids and are more busy, that'll be a little different, but I'm trying to really soak it in and enjoy it. So the recommendation for this week is the Fitbod app. So Fitbod, it's an app. I told you all about it a few weeks back, and I told you I would report back and let you know how it is. I'm 2 weeks in, maybe 3 weeks in, and I can say that I really, really like it. And I'm going to be purchasing it after the free trial expires. So some of the really helpful things for me is that I don't have to plan out what exercises I'm going to do. It just picks them for you. But if there's something you're a little too intimidated to try, like a certain type of machine at the gym or a set of equipment, you can pick from like 10 other options that are still going to work out the same muscle. And they've been pretty accurate with the weights and reps that would get me right to the point of exhaustion and exertion without going over the limit. And I'm always sore after, but just the perfect amount where I can still walk and like lift my arms and do my day-to-day activities without like, oh my gosh, I'm so sore, which sometimes I would feel that after certain workout classes. Or sometimes I'd go to a workout class and be like, I don't really feel anything. Like, did that even do anything? So that's what's so nice about this, is it's going to be 100% personalized to you. So thank you again to the listener that recommended it to me. And now I can pass that recommendation off to all of you. And going through all these recommendations and favorites and things this intro, I wanted to talk about another recommendation that I have, which is our sponsor this week. And I'm so honored to be partnering with an organization that has made such a huge impact on my dental school experience and early career as a dentist so far. So I wanted to take a moment to talk about something that's made a huge difference in my career, and that is being an MDA member. Trust me, it's much more than a membership. It's like having a safety net and a support system that's always there. From discounted continuing education that keeps you sharp without emptying your wallet, to free legal and regulatory support when you need it most, MDA has your back. And those exclusive group discounts on supplies, they've saved me thousands. So if you haven't renewed yet, or you're thinking about joining, now is the time. Secure your 2025 membership at michigandental.org/2025. All right, now back on the topic of going to present at MSU tomorrow. I'm going to talk about 5 things that I've learned during my years of college and dental school. So overall, how I've grown as a person and some advice and motivation to go with it for you all. And I hope you can leave this episode with some little pearl, some takeaway that you want to start to implement, or maybe reinvigorate a motivation that you once had that has maybe kind of dwindled lately. So let me just frame things and tell you that when I was a 18-year-old college freshman, I definitely lacked confidence in myself. And although I had a pretty clear vision that I wanted to be a dentist, I lacked, I would say, like overall direction and discipline. And again, just confidence and self-worth as an individual. So over the years, I have really noticed great improvements in that from freshman year of college into senior year of college. I felt like I felt a big jump during first year of dental school. That just takes on a lot of maturity, I think, because it's such a challenging social, academic environment to be in. It's just so new and it's something you've never done before, learning a whole skill that makes up an entire profession. And that seemed to be a really big jump. And then I felt like there was another really big jump in maturity and realizations and things towards the end of second year, going through third year, starting clinic, and then during fourth year when it was coming to career planning, future planning, boards, things start to really get real that, oh my gosh, I'm about to be a working member of society, no longer be a student when you've been a student since kindergarten, because I didn't take any time off between high school to college to dental school. I just went straight through. So I'd always been a student, and knowing that that part of my identity was going to be gone, I wanted to make sure I had a really clear identity as a person and not as just a student or a dental student or a soon-to-be dentist, that there was more to me and more to my life vision. And that takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of self-reflection and goal setting, and maybe talking to trusted people that know you well and maybe see your strengths and your best abilities. So all that to be said, let's get into these 5 tips, 5 pieces of advice. First one is the shortest one, and that is you only have so much control in your life. There's only so many things that are in your control. So really, really work on stretching that skill, growing that skill of not stressing about what you cannot control. For example, we mentioned in the intro, you won't get an opportunity if you don't bother asking for it or applying for it. But whether or not you actually get it is relatively out of your control. So you do everything you can to submit a good application or to ask the question at the best time with the best resources. But whether someone says yes or no, that part's out of your control.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
The holiday season officially starts when you get that first card in the mail. Shutterfly makes it easy to add more meaning to the everyday with hundreds of holiday card designs that can be personalized in seconds with your favorite photos from this year. Select your greeting, customize the color, and even add little extras like personalized foil to make a holiday card that really shines. Enjoy 40% off with code SMILE40 at Shutterfly.com and send something meaningful this year. See site for more details.
Tip number 2. For the parts of your life that you can control, you might as well do your very best and be proud of your actions. Accountability, owning up to who you are and what you're doing day to day. It's not what you do when people are watching, it's what you do when no one's watching. So own up to your daily activities and evaluate if they fall in line with the person you want to be. Taking care of yourself day in and day out. It won't typically be easy or simple, but it is necessary. The better you can care for yourself, the better you can serve others in life, and the longer you're going to live to have a chance to love more people, impact more people, make a difference. And on the topic of being a dentist, with most of the people listening to this episode, dentistry specifically requires a ton of mental and physical labor each day. I think we all are learning that, especially if you're a practicing dentist right now. So you want to be sure that you are taking care of your body, being kind to your body, fueling yourself well, and working towards longevity. And although all of this seems like a very lofty task, I find it's helpful to approach life with gratitude that you have a body to train, and you have access to healthy foods, and you have access to people that love and care about you, and you have the ability to make an impact on people around you. All of that is something to be grateful for. So realistically, we all can admit, as much as we don't like to hear it, there is no time to start like the present. Whatever it is that you are listening and you're thinking, man, like I really need to be better about that thing. There's no time to start like the present, and we all know it. So the sooner that you make those good habits part of who you innately are, the better that your future is going to be. All right, advice number 3, be your unique self and develop confidence in your personal values. This is a really nice spinoff of number 2 because you have control over who you are and who you are appearing as to other people. You don't really have control over how they perceive you, but you have control over how you show up every day, how you're taking care of your body, how you are trying to act towards others. All of those are things in your control. And life is going to be a lot easier, a lot less stressful, a lot less confusing when you have a very, very clear mission and a very clear why behind your actions. And I'm just not talking about pursuing dental school or wanting to go into public health or something on a broader scale, but who you are as a person, your core traits and values, and the way you live your life day to day, the simple things, all of those add up. And they should be supporting the person that you want to be. So taking the time to figure out who you are as a unique individual person and develop a confidence in that and a gratitude for that, and figure out the best ways that you can share that with the world in a positive way. So that's going to take a lot of time reflecting on your goals and on your values, and that why of life will hopefully tie in nicely to your why of dentistry. And if it doesn't, then maybe dentistry isn't quite right for you. If you feel like those two things just don't have any commonalities, or there's not a way for you to be your unique self and live out your personal goals as a dentist, then maybe dentistry isn't right for you. But having this clear vision and clear way that you can be this higher self, this best self, is going to make your decisions on your path a lot more straightforward and guide you through those tough parts of life. Number 4, this is a quote that says, "Luck happens when preparedness meets opportunity." And I have spoken, like I said, to many pre-dental clubs, dental school open houses, all sorts of different things, whether it's virtual or in person, and whether it's the same group multiple years in a row or one time and I haven't gone back. This is in my slides and I don't really get rid of it. Even if I'm presenting to the same group over and over, I revise the slides, talk about new things, so it's less boring and repetitive each year. But I like to leave this quote in here because I think it's so important, and it really describes a large portion of why I feel I'm in such a great spot in life presently, and why I feel so much immense gratitude for everything in my personal life as well as my professional life. And that quote again, "Luck happens when preparedness meets opportunity." Write it down, put it on a sticky note, stick it above your desk, stick it in the bathroom, wherever you're going to see it, and take in that accountability. When preparedness meets opportunity. So there's so much in your control that when an opportunity presents itself, you are the best candidate, or you're able to step in and help someone because you are prepared. You have that skill set. You have that ability to impact that person or that situation in a positive way. I know my parents have given me many blessings, and I'm so grateful for that. But a lot of things in this preparedness, it's big life decisions, those opportunities. I could say, oh, I'm so lucky that I have such a wonderful partner that I'm going to be marrying and starting a family with, and such a wonderful relationship with my family and my sister and things like that. And I'm so lucky that I have an amazing office to work at and a first job that doesn't happen for a lot of people. And I'm so lucky I got into Michigan for dental school. It was my top choice. But in reality, there was a lot of preparedness and a lot of work and a lot of effort for the things that were in my control that went into that. So luck happens when preparedness meets opportunity. It might be considered lucky that I accomplished what I have or found the job that I did, but I think that quote perfectly sums it up. Luck happens when preparedness meets opportunity. And that's going to apply to something very specific and different in your life than maybe it did in mine. Number 5, wrapping it all up. We're going to keep it on a cute little sappy note. Don't do it all alone. Having a goal of something like dental school, which is fairly competitive, it can be demanding, and that can lead to a lot of isolation if you let it. If you let competition and self-doubt get in your way, you can be lonely, you can struggle with your mental health, and it can be very, very challenging. And it can be hard to live out these other 4 things we talked about: gratitude, being your best self, showing up and always trying your hardest, and trying to, again, just live life as your highest best self. It can be very hard if you're isolated and you get into a dark place. So don't do it all alone, whether that's preparing to get into dental school, fitness, your other hobbies. Find community. Community is so essential for our lives, and I personally have many different people, different groups of people, different communities of people, whether that be friends or family or professional groups, that I know I can always count on depending on what aspects of my life I'm looking to share or looking to lean on someone for. Could be the Michigan Dental Association, like we talked about, the sponsor of this episode. It could be my sister. It could be a dental school best friend. It could be someone from grade school who's really excited to support me in a different part of my life. Community is so key. Make time for your loved ones outside of whatever else you have going on in life so that you can disconnect from those stresses. Find hobbies and activities outside of school, outside of your profession that fill you up. That way you are a happier, more present person when you go back to trying to serve people through a professional school or a profession eventually. I hope this episode was motivating. I love throwing these in every couple months to just, reignite that fire in all of us. It can be easy to get a little lazy or fall off the rails a bit, but I hope this helped you kind of get motivated and relight that fire and that passion for whatever your passions are and your values are. And if you did find this episode helpful, send me a message on Instagram. I would love to chat with you. And it's also very helpful for the podcast, shows us a lot of support, and helps the podcast get to more people so we can help and impact more people positively. One of my missions and values, as we talked about in this episode, is this podcast, helping people in our profession find community, feel support, become our best selves. That's one of the things I really strive to do with this podcast, and it will reach more people if you leave us a nice 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever you're listening. You just click on the name of the show and then click on the little review area and leave a nice rating. I would appreciate it. And be sure to check out the Michigan Dental Association if you're located in Michigan, and if you're not, the ADA and your state's dental association as well. Thank you all so much for listening this week, and I will talk to you next Monday.